And here too, live now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. Thank you so much for joining us. 36 hours into this Operation Epic Fury, President Trump not taking any questions from reporters as he head back to the White House for the time being. As he said, this will continue on until all objectives are achieved. And there's obviously some demonstrations taking place in areas like Los Angeles, but also concern about what might unfold domestically here on Live Now from Fox. So I do want to continue on with that as we saw a tragedy unfold in Austin, Texas here as we were diving into the latest here about several incidents there as 2 people killed, more than a dozen others injured in a shooting overnight on their 6th Street Entertainment District. Let's be joined right now by Fox 7 Austin's Alec Nolan. Alec, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. The FBI is looking into this, a nexus of terrorism. What can you tell us? What's the latest update at this moment?
Yeah, so many people waking up here today in Austin and getting that push alert that there had been a mass shooting. Obviously, because of what happened last night, we had a feeling that could there be some sort of retaliation after the killing of the Ayatollah in Iran. And of course, unfortunately, I'm glad to be with you today, Andy, but not under these circumstances. So for those of you not familiar with Austin, 6th Street, certainly a very busy.
Yeah, obviously a very sad moment, 2 killed, and obviously it could have been much worse if the police weren't so readily available and on the scene very quickly. I also want to put up this here as we talk about this potentially nexus of terrorism. The FBI is still looking into it. Not sure of the motive at this moment, but Mill Belusion saying the photo has been obtained of this mass shooter armed and wearing a shirt that says property of Allah. Of course, talking about what's going on in Iran. Did they get into any specifics about the motive, about what they're looking into in regards to that?
Yeah, we potentially, the word potential is what is being used. So we are saying a potential active terror. This is something that they said early on in that early morning press conference. I've had multiple reporters on this. We just had a reporter actually outside the suspected gunman's house. I can tell you that. We do know that there was 8 FBI agents, APD officers going to that home, coming out with boxes of what appears to be evidence. There's also a white car in the driveway there that it looks as though someone has bashed in the window there. We're not quite sure what that is. We also saw people coming in and out of the house. We talked with a neighbor who said he saw drones, who said he saw canine units, SWAT teams coming in with assault rifles as well, getting a search warrant on this home. And in terms of the potential act of terrorism, we haven't gotten that as an exact motive from APD or FBI agents. And honestly, I don't suspect to hear from them for the rest of the night. But I can tell you that image that you showed there, which we have put out as well from Fox 7 Austin here. We also obtained a video, which you can find on my Instagram, Alec Nolan TV. And you can watch it. That there's a suspected gunman there on the ground after appearing to get shot. And if you pause the video, and I know it's blurred in there and you can't see it, but I can tell you from watching that video, it is that same property of Allah hoodie that you're seeing right there. So once again, we don't have confirmation as to the motive right now, just being investigated as a potential act of terror. We do know that he lives in Pflugerville. If you're from Austin, that's not far away, about 20 minutes north. And it looks as though he lives with other people. And I believe he became a naturalized citizen about 20 years ago, a legal citizen, I should say, and then a naturalized citizen in 2013. So we're continuing to get more information. But as you know, Andy, it sometimes takes a while for law enforcement.
Yeah, it takes them a little bit of time as they're kind of diving into all these leads. If it was just something you picked out of the closet or if there was something specific around exactly what you wore to obviously unload this and 2 people losing their lives, dozen other injured. I do want to ask you more about Austin because we know the University of Texas so prominent in the community there. How aware are people in Austin of what's going on in Iran? How aware are they of the politics of it all? Because obviously a young kind of crowd, a college town, so to speak. How aware are you of the global implications of what's going on in Iran?
That's a really great question, Andy. I think people need to understand that Austin, certainly out of all of the cities here in Texas, I would argue, is the most aware, I would say, of what's going on politically, globally, economically, internationally. This is a college town, but you're also talking about a very highly educated area. The politics here, this being the capital, Governor Greg Abbott is here. We know that so many people like to go outside the Capitol. And we saw this yesterday, Andy, and I captured video of this as well. right after it had been confirmed that the Ayatollah had been killed, we have seen a group, hundreds of local Iranians going outside the Capitol and cheering, thanking President Donald Trump, thanking Israel. So this has been going on for weeks now. I mean, since January, we have seen these people outside begging for some help. And so I would argue that, yeah, this is an area that's very self-aware of what's going on and understands the implications of, hey, if you're going to, as I told one of my colleagues, take the head off the snake here in the Ayatollah, things can happen.
That's very good. I just wanted to get your perspective. Obviously, a very politically savvy group there in Austin, much like yourself. All right, Alec, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, your insight here on Live Now from Vox.
Andy, thanks. Anytime.
All right, thanks so much. All right, great conversation there is what we were following, a possibility, potential, a nexus of terrorism following this mass shooting that unfolded overnight on that 6th Street area there in Austin. Again, these were just some images that we're getting in from there. You can see the lights and sirens as the police taking out this individual, and a photo on social media from Bill Malugin talking about this wearing a specific sweatshirt has not been identified by authorities. Multiple law enforcement sources say it's a 53-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen born in Senegal, lives in Pflugerville. Bill Malugin said he was told he's wearing an undershirt that had an Iranian flag on it as well. So interesting kind of confluence of events. The FBI looking into it, Austin police keeping our eye on it. Let's take you out to this update from Austin police, I believe overnight, into what transpired there.
There was, as everybody is now aware, a very significant incident on West 6th Street. We're going to have a briefing from the chiefs, as was just indicated to you. I want to say first, before I bring up Chief Davis, that I'm very thankful for the speed with which our public safety officials responded to this. I don't think there's any question that it saved lives. In fact, Chief Luckrets will tell you about how quickly we were providing, his folks were providing help and aid to people, and that made a difference. But also our police officers who so rapidly responded and handled this situation. What we will do, and I'll mention this again a little bit later, but what we will do is get a briefing right now to get information to you. And then during the course of the day, as we continue this, we will, on a regular and routine basis, provide you additional information. So with that, I'm going to ask our police chief, Chief Davis, to come up.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to start by saying my condolences to those that have been touched by this. This is a tragic, tragic incident. I want to start by saying how fortunate we were. If you imagine all of the resources that APD has on East 6th Street on the weekend, and fortunately, those resources, after the bars were closing, were able to rapidly move here. Chief Luckrets will have more on that response, a co-response, but we were here rapidly due to that. This incident started with, again, that calls for a male shooting at Buford's bar on West 6th Street. Officers immediately transitioned, came over East 6th to West 6th Street, and were faced with the individual with a gun, and 3 of our officers returned fire, killing the suspect. Again, as the mayor said, this is a situation that we are going to be talking about probably all day, and all of you have many questions, as do we. Our federal partners are here, as well as others, and this will be a scene that will take several hours to process. And so I ask for your patience, but again, we will get as much information as quickly as we can to you. At this point, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Chief Luckrets.
Good morning. Thank you, Chief Davis. Just to echo as well our condolences to everyone that was involved in this. From an EMS perspective, this was a very active scene. As many of you know, we have paramedics that are embedded in the entertainment district and with the Austin Police Department on the weekends. We received the call at 1:59 a.m. and within 57 seconds, the first paramedics and officers were on scene actively treating the patients. We had a total of 17 patients on the scene. 14 of those were transported to the hospital. 3 were pronounced dead on scene. Of the 14 patients who were transported to the hospital, 3 were in critical condition. As I said, our condolences go out to everyone that was involved, and we'll be back with more information in the future. I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
Thank you, Chief. As has been indicated, our hearts go out to the people that are victims of this, and I want to again reiterate my thanks to our public safety officers and officials that so rapidly were on the scene. They definitely saved lives. And as I've indicated, what we will do is during the course of the day, we will inform you about when we will provide additional briefings. This is ongoing, and we will give you as much information as we can throughout the day. So please follow us, and we'll keep you up to date. But thank you all for being out here this morning. Thank you very much.
Will you clarify if the shooter is part of the three members?
All right, just listening into that from Austin Police, the FBI looking into it, potentially a nexus of terrorism. We're getting these new images from Fox News' Bill Maluzhin talking about this, a photo of that armed shooter wearing a sweatshirt, not been identified, talking about he was also wearing an undershirt that had an Iranian flag on it as well. So some potentially concerning images there at this tragedy that unfolded in the early morning hours of that entertainment district in the Lone Star State.